Hello, Sagittarius friends. I'm Annie Botticelli, and welcome to my Sagittarius August 2024 Astrology Horoscope Forecast. I am calling the theme of this month for Sagittarius the time we have been waiting for, because I'm a Saggy with you, and I'm so excited about so many things going on at this time. So we'll talk about all of that. We'll also talk about the fact that we're back in eclipse season, crazy trajectory shifts and life-changing experiences. August, September, October, we're in for it. We'll go into lots of details about that. It's also Mercury retrograde, so we'll give you some guidelines and apply the other things we're talking about through the Mercury retrograde lens. We've got a blue moon this month, the second in a row, and this is in a favorable sign for us. And the new moon, that's in Leo, is also in a favorable sign for us. So there are so many things to talk about. I'm just going to get right to it. This is for you if Sagittarius is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other Sagittarius placement you're listening for. What I'm going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. And if you're a very late degree Sagittarius friend like me, so birthdays around December 15th through the rest of the sign, or Sagittarius degrees around 23 degrees through the rest of the sign, I suggest you additionally listen to my Capricorn report, as your very late degree friends will benefit from both readings. Let's start with the more mundane, the shorter term influences, and then we'll build up to the things that can bring lasting transformation over the course of, now and time to come. So the first and most exciting thing is we are in Leo season. And as Sagittarius is, this is a time that we wait for, whether you realize it or not, but now I'm alerting you to it. So when the planets start to get into Leo, they make what's called a trine with our Sagittarius placements. And not only do they do that, they also light up our chart's house of Sagittarius, which brings more awesomeness to everything that we love as Sagittariuses. So we've got the sun, star goddess Vesta, Venus, and then Mercury will retrograde back into Leo, and the new moon on August 4th, all in Leo. So this is fire energy. It speaks our language. It's vibrant. It's exciting. It's creative. It's active. And it's a special gift for us for sure. So self-expression, hobbies, any just fun and pleasures, bucket list stuff, romance, anything involving children, all of these energies can be expanded in wonderful ways. And some of these things may just fall in our laps, but since we know that it's going on, we can utilize it. You may come to notice that and the end of July into August sort of time frame each year, you might notice that you get more creative, or you get more excited, or you get more, if you're a person who creates, period, you might get some really good ideas, or you may look back and see that you reached some milestones or had accomplishments at this time. And that's because of this energy. And we have quite a lot of it at this time because we're adding to it the Mercury retrograde. So Mercury will start out the month in Virgo, but very soon after, when Mercury goes retrograde on August 4th, it's going to dial back into Leo to join this beautiful Leo party. Now, as I said before, and by the way, if you love the visuals, I am going to add those at the end of the report, and I'll let you know, for those of you who don't like the visuals, when I'm going to do that so you can sign off. But any of the things that I'm talking about here referring to the chart, I will show you the chart at the end on the YouTube version. And I will put the chart as the thumbnail for podcast listeners if you want to have a peek. Okay, so what does it mean when we have a massive amount of energy flow through our house of Sagittarius? It enlivens travel. It enlivens adventure, even if it's just in our own town. It brings education and research projects and learning and speaking and sharing the things that we're excited about. Writing and publishing. It can enhance spiritual connections or development. It can also make us more optimistic, and it can make us more likely to find creative solutions. It gives us more of a chance to step up onto let's say a mountaintop or an aerial view of a situation to, first of all, either give us a solution that was not available when we were down in the muck and mire. And second of all, it can give us peace, similar to how astronauts just, talk about how they feel when they're looking down at the Earth. And if you ever see any aerial shots of the Earth from space, pretty much the first thing that everyone says is, it's so peaceful. Everything looks like it's, flowing the way it's supposed to. And you get down into it and you're like, there's stuff going on here, right? That it's challenging. But this more objective view, this expanded view, That's something that Sagittarius is known for. It's one of our gifts. It's one of our powers. And when it's Leo time, we actually have that Sagittarius power accentuated for us. So we have all of this brewing. The sun is there, bringing light and vibrance and elucidation. We've got Venus there, bringing money and more romance, which already adds to the fact that Leo rules for true love. And we've got Star Goddess Vesta there, which helps us have more domestic bliss or solutions in our home space. And Mercury is there, bringing information and inspiration. So inspiration is a very key word at this time. On that topic, since we're in Mercury retrograde in August, I'll give you those dates. August 4th, Mercury goes retrograde. August 28th, it goes direct. Before it goes retrograde on July 17th, there's the shadow period begins. So after July 17th until we get to August 4th, we're kind of in this decline into full Mercury retrograde. And then after it goes direct August 28th, we're kind of building back, crawling back to this normalcy, to this clarity, which we get to by September 12th. Okay, so that period of time between July 17th and September 12th is a time where it's better to leave yourself unscheduled if possible. Of course, we have life, we have things we have to do. You know, if it's the summer break or winter break for you all down under, maybe you're trying to cram a bunch of stuff in because it's the time free that you have, you know, from school, or if your kids have from school. But the more you can kind of leave flexibility around your plans, I promise you will be so much happier, because any tight, firm, you know, trying to contort things to fit in a certain space, it just doesn't match with the Mercury retrograde energies. And that's one of my biggest messages that's behind my book and my podcast and my YouTube and all of the things that I do, is how to align with the natural rhythms of the universe. And when Mercury's in retrograde, it's not in great alignment to try to plan very far in the future or to try to plan at all. It's in the moment. The magic is in the moment. And really in life, the magic is in the moment anyway, but we do have to strategize. We do have to plan. We do want to have long-term goals and try to make movement towards those things. But August is just this beautiful time where we could be suspended in the moment and, you know, say maybe to plans instead of a firm yes. You know, schedule things before or after, maybe if it's possible, so that it will save you from rescheduling. And what the retrograde is great for are things like flexible vacations, where you've got a little wiggle room as to your schedule and your plan, staycations. You know, this is a really great month. And just always remember this, from the end of July into the end of August, if you're an artist, if you're a creator, trying to leave some of that unscheduled, even if Mercury's not in retrograde, because inspiration may strike, and it may strike strongly, then if you leave some space, you may be able to have time to do something with the creativity and the amazing ideas that come through you. This is a great time to create, but it's not the best time to launch. This is a great time to go over and back to old things and bring them to a new stage of completion. And if you start something new, that's okay too. Just know that it may be a short-term thing, or shorter term than you expect, or it may turn out differently than you think it is. Like, for instance, maybe you take a class casually thinking, oh, maybe this will be fun. It's a great time to do that, by the way. Then you get into the class and you realize, oh gosh, I want to do this for a long time. So it intended to be short term, but then it changed. You know, there's something about how you approach things in this month that will tend to change. So if you have to make big life-changing decisions, you might want to wait until, you know, at least getting into September to do that. And also important to know is that since we have the eclipse on September 17th, that's a 25-degree eclipse of Pisces, and then we have the eclipse on October 2nd at 10 degrees of Libra, those eclipses are going to bring in new information. So anything that you think you decide in August is going to have to be tested by monumental, you know, trajectory shifts for your destiny plan. So, you know, that's just a little something to consider. So if you know going into it, which you now do because I'm telling you, that, you know, there is a lot of stuff that's going to come out, information, opportunities, changes in the coming months. So if you kind of live as if that's about to happen in August, then it will better prepare you for those changes that come, and they will. So this could be a great time for long distance travel. If you are listening to this early and you don't have your passport situated, you may want to get it ready. Immigration topics could be coming up at this point. You know, you could go back to studying something that you've started, or something that you've been wanting to do forever, you might finally do that. A lot of this can center around expanding your horizons, whatever that looks like for you. I could talk forever about that, but there are other things to talk about. The last point about the Leo energy is that on August 4th, we've got the new moon at 12 degrees of Leo. And new moons are amazing times for us to plant seeds, for us to make new moon wishes. And Jan Spiller, brilliant astrologer Jan Spiller, taught me that if you align your new moon wishes with the sign and the energetics of the sign that the new moon is in, they can even go further than they would if they're random wishes. So if you align them with all these things that we talked about, Leo, children, creative babies, romance, bucket list stuff, fun, leadership, theatrics, anything with drama, like not just drama, bad drama, but drama like on a stage drama, or anything that puts you out in front of other people. Those kind of things are great to wish for. And all Saggies will get goodies from the fact that this is a fire new moon. But those of you closest to 12 degrees, so we'll say between 7 degrees and 17 degrees, so that's going to be like late Scorpitarius friends, like the 28th, 29th, 30th, 30th, around like the end of November. And then leading up to like the first few days of December, like the days around December 2nd will be strongest. And then it will trail kind of into around December 7th, 8th, 9th. So that kind of range there, the closer to around the 2nd or 3rd, the more you get a kiss from that new moon. Okay, so what's next? We've got so many more things to discuss. After the energies move from Leo, they move into Virgo. So you'll see a marked, distinct shift between this fire frenzy and this burning the candle at both ends into this static, grounded attention to detail, attention to the mundane, attention to routine that will come as the month moves on and the planets move into Virgo. So Virgo energy is very detail oriented. It's all about organization. It's all about, structure and systems. And so this is kind of like, if you imagine, and maybe this isn't your circumstance, but the energy is still the same, even if it isn't. The energy of having a glowing summer of fun, and then, or winter of fun for you all down under, and then like getting back to school or getting back to your routine. That's the transition energy that we're looking at when we look from Leo into Virgo. And some of you, that may actually be happening. You or your kids may be going back to school and you'll feel this energy. Okay, so now time to buckle down, time to get these basics situated. And so if you need to do something that's more tedious, you may want to wait until you feel this shift, because it's going to be a little bit hard, a little bit distracting to try to do it when you're inspired with all the fire energy. Although the Virgo energy could help you to be detail oriented with the inspiration that you have and actually write it down or get it in a permanent place. The energy of Virgo for Sagittarius lights up our 10th house. The 10th house is work and career and employment. If you're retired or money, income doesn't matter to you, this still works in the way of how you put your energy out into the world, whether it's volunteer efforts or passion projects or what it is that you do every day, how you connect with the outer world. And, for many people, that's employment. So this could be career opportunities. This could be business focus. This could be a work project. You may notice that every year around this time that you start to, get focused on that space, or you may have work opportunities or employment opportunities or advancements that happen at this time. If you need a new job, you have both the Eclipse energy that can be ushering new things in, and you have this Virgo energy that can be, bringing new things in the work department too. This energy can also have to do with father or father figures. Sometimes mom or mom figures will come through here too, just like general parental energy. But you may see, important figures like that in your life come into focus at this time, either them helping you or you helping them. Or if you need support, that might be a good place to go. A boss, old bosses, things like that. So now applying all of this to the tilt of the Mercury retrograde, if you need a job, at this point, it might be more fruitful to go back to work or a contact or someone that or something that you did before. You can do new things, and if that's in the flow, then just follow that. But sometimes with the tilt of the Mercury retrograde, there is this increase in fruitfulness when there has some sort of tilt to the past, or someone can contact you from the past and open up some possibilities. Okay, so let's talk about the full moon, supermoon, blue moon at 27 degrees of Aquarius in the days around August 19th. Now, this is a big deal. This is the second blue moon in a row. If you've been watching my reports, you know at the end of July, we had a blue moon in Capricorn. There are at least 3 definitions that I know of what makes a blue moon. One is a second full moon in a sign, which is what we had in July, and or a second full moon in a month, a calendar month. That could be a blue moon. And then there's the astronomical definition of a third full moon in a cycle of 4 between summer solstice and fall equinox. And those, so that's called a seasonal blue moon. And that's what this one is, August 19th, seasonal blue moon. Those seasonal blue moons are even more rare than the other blue moons are. So it's like a 33-month, time that happens in. So it is truly once in a blue moon. So you may notice in the days around the 19th that we have something, exciting come up, something that is once in a blue moon, an opportunity or an experience that rolls in, that's something a little bit more rare, something a little bit more special. And, so if somebody contacts you around that time with information, it would be the time to call them back because they may be giving you blue moon news. And this is exciting and has, possibilities for every sign. But fire signs will have a nice aspect with air energy. So this works out especially well for us. Fullness, completion, fruition, drama. It's also a supermoon, so we're going to feel that more when we look in the sky. It's going to be bigger in the sky, some great photo ops. So you might be feeling moony or hard, and have insomnia for even a week before. So like around August 12th, even up to a week after, this is a PowerPoint. And you may be feeling it. So now you'll know if that's what's going on, why it's going on. Fullness, completion, fruition, drama, coming to the energy of Aquarius. Aquarius has to do with groups, teams, friendships, humanitarian projects, community projects, internet-based projects, technology, things like that. And specifically for Saggies, this lights up our 3rd house of Gemini. So this could be a trip that comes out of the blue, once in a blue moon opportunity for a voyage of some kind. That coupled with the fact that our international sector is being lit up like crazy from all that Leo energy. And one important thing to know here, there is a myth that it's not okay to travel during Mercury retrograde. It's not true. Mercury retrograde can be amazing for travel, but what I've found is the best trips that happen during Mercury retrograde are the ones that happen last minute. And so if you try to plan something, sometimes it'll work out, sometimes it'll be just fine. But what it really, really favors is that opportunity that comes when you didn't schedule anything and you left yourself unscheduled so that you would have room for this magic. And all of a sudden someone says, you want to go here? And it's like, oh, okay, great. And then it works out famously. So, just kind of be aware that could happen. If you have to make plans because that's your only time off, leave some flexibility. But definitely don't be afraid of travel in Mercury retrograde. You just have to check your gates more carefully. You have to make sure you dot your I's and cross your T's more, because the chance for mishaps, definitely increase with miscommunications and such, and changes to the schedule. But if you're going with the flow, then it doesn't matter. So back to the 3rd house. So this blue moon is going to be aspecting research projects, learning. There are some similar energies that Gemini has that Sagittarius has. So learning, taking in information, writing, editing, publishing, distilling information down into usable form, vehicles, devices, anything like that. And it does rule short-term travel, which is what prompted me to start that discussion. So that's happening in that area. Okay, so while we're on the topic of the 3rd house, also remember our ruler Jupiter, is in the sign of Gemini from May 2024 through June 2025. So this energy of expansion and teaching and learning and editing and travel and mobility and excitement and social openings is really pronounced for us for a whole year. And you may find that you get into learning something this year that starts a precedence for the next 12 years, and that you're you're adding to what you had done in the last 12-year cycle. Now, specifically for Saggies, Jupiter in Gemini. Gemini lights up our 7th house of relationships. So we've got a year ahead of us of expanding the relationships we already have, of making new friends, new contacts. If we have customers, it's a time of expanding our customer base. It's a time of finding people who can really help us and fill those voids in our lives of places that we need help and support. And it can help us to show up for other people that way. It can help us find solutions and accord in situations where there are conflicts, and it can actually just bring more things into our lives. Jupiter tends to be additive. So if you're looking for your true love, this is another factor of Jupiter in the 7th house can help you find that true love. If you've already found that true love, maybe you get engaged. If you're already engaged, maybe Jupiter in this area have you get married, or you add a child, or you add another child, or you add working in business together. It's an additive sort of thing. And if you are already in an established relationship, sometimes it can add things back that have been missing. So, if you're getting back to certain things in your relationship, you've got a year of being able to improve your relationship space, which is really exciting. Okay, so we still have to talk about the eclipses. So let's just go right there. We've got the Aries Libra eclipse cycle that started in 2023, goes through the first half of 2025. This is in a good angle for Sagittarius placements. This has to do with me versus we. Aries is me, Libra is we, and the push and pull between our autonomy and our interdependence, our independent flow, and us merging with other people. Any ways that we have dynamics in relationships that are off or not fulfilling in some way. There's this kind of moving around of energy, shuffling around of energy in those arenas, and the chance to clear out a massive amount of karma in our relationship space and in our self-confidence and any of our foundational footing. So the things that happened to us when we were born, in utero, when we were born in the first years of our life, are really denoted by this Aries energy. And so there's a chance to heal birth trauma, heal what happened. Many of us, myself included, had something traumatic happen in our family situation at an early stage. And those traumas sometimes echo into our past and our future. So this time is a time when you can start to clear up those things. You may need some guidance, people doing healing work, psychological work, spiritual work, meditation, inner work of all different kinds to help coax that along. Or sometimes it could just be spontaneous healing. So that's exciting, but it is definitely all about trying to find a better balance between things for yourself and things for other people. Now, specifically for Saggies, those energies light up the 5th and the 11th houses. So that has to do with your passions, your individual gifts versus the community. That has to do with what society says versus what your heart tells you and what lights you up, in this push and pull here. So we've got opportunities to express ourselves in better ways and to connect with our tribe or people that speak our language more or less. So just to give you the dates again, September 17th is the Pisces 25-degree lunar eclipse. And the reason why we're talking about this in August, I've already mentioned this, but I'll mention it again. Eclipse season starts 4 to 6 weeks before the first eclipse. So that's all of August. So we might start to see changes along these lines, or news or information. But remember, since it's in retrograde, any information we get could be reversed, could be added to. So, anything that you learn or find out that could be eclipse related in August, just wait for the qualifiers, because the things that you figured out might turn out to not be true, or might get rectified, or might change. So you're in a period of time here in August, September, October, even a little bit into November, where things are in flux, things are changing, and we're moving into a time where even after Mercury goes direct, we'll have a very short time before the Mars shadow window starts. And if you've been watching my work, I've been alluding to this all year. And we'll talk about that more in September, but just to kind of head it off here. Now, introduce a second polarity of eclipses, and that is the Pisces Virgo eclipse cycle. Okay, so that's going to be in effect till 2027. So what we're opening up here this time, August, September, October, are themes that will be present with us for a while to come. And those have to do with order versus chaos. They have to do with practicality versus spirituality. They have to do with the mundane versus the exalted spiritual plane. the things that have to be done versus the inspiration of like the art, the poetry that's necessary, right? The food and daily things that are necessary versus the poetry that's necessary. And that's what we're working with. It's also our inner world and our outer world, our logic versus our intuition. So you'll see opportunities with energy shuffling around, addictions, health issues, all of those things have a chance to come to the light and get rectified. If there's something that's been undercover, the eclipse energies might bring it out. And since the sixth house has to do with what we do every day, this is that same energy that is Virgo energy that I talked about when the planets move from Leo into Virgo. So we've got multiple lines of Virgo energy coming up here. But how you do your everyday may drastically change. There may be something that goes on that affects what your usual routine is, or how you do it, or where you do it, or who you're doing it with. And, that's all the type of thing that will be happening. So in some ways, we know that this can be a good thing from the perspective of shaking up things and having a new routine. We always fear the unknown because we think, oh gosh, this is going to be terrible. Is that what will be a change? And for some people, we will have, some of us may have something very challenging happen. But there's also just as good of a chance that we can have a breath, like an exhilarating change to our daily environment, something that's lighter, something that's freer, something that's better in how we do our everyday. So I've given you a lot of dates, and if you want more dates, go to anniehelpsyou.com. Now, if you want to stay on for the visuals, just give me a minute here. I'm closing everybody else out who's not going to stay on for the visuals. But yeah, so go to anniehelpsyou.com, put your name and email address in there, click receive. You'll get a welcome letter, go to the archive link, and then put in August 2024 astrology, and that will give you my sweet and salty dates. And we do have a lot of salty dates this month. A lot of them are quincunx angles. They're awkward angles. I get into all of that in the write-up. But that's one of the things that you get from my free VIP community. I don't spam you. I only send out around, weekly newsletters with information that you can use to make the most of the astrological factors at play. But if you want that write-up, then you can find it there. It has my favorite dates in the month. It has the ones to watch, different dates than we've talked about here. So you can see that at anniehelpsyou.com. And I have a double blue moon promo for signing up for my astrology certification course, where you get all of the courses in my whole school for free when you sign up for this one, or you get all the rest of the courses in my school for free when you sign up for the astrology certification course. So you can see all of that there at anniehelpsyou.com. Just scroll down to up level and you'll see how to get to the school. Okay, so for those of you staying on to look at the visuals, then I'm going to drop those in now. Okay, so I'm just going to breeze through visuals of the things that I talked about. And the first thing I talked about is how our ninth house is accentuated by all of this Leo energy, the Sun, Vesta, Venus, and then Mercury will go into retrograde. Plus, we've got that 12-degree new moon on August 4th in Leo, all making trines, the most fabulous aspect in all of astrology, to our Sagittarius placements, bringing all of this Sag energy, speaking our language in wonderful ways. Then we've got the Aquarius supermoon on 8/19, the supermoon, full moon, blue moon happening there in the third house. It's ruled by Gemini. Jupiter in Gemini, expanding our seventh house of relationships for a year. Oh, also Mars will be there all of August. I forgot to mention that. So that's adding even more oomph to our relationship space and more motivation to get things rectified there. The eclipse, the new eclipse cycle, Pisces, Virgo. Oh, see, that's something else I didn't remember. So any of you who stayed on and watched the visuals, you're getting some extra stuff here, because I realized that, so Pisces and Virgo eclipse cycles are here, and those are accentuating our home and work, our place out in the world, and our place in our house, our real estate, our housing. So those things might be getting shuffled around quite a bit from now into 2027, as those Pisces order versus, disorder, chaos, inner world versus outer world, intuition versus logic. There's a lot of shuffling around in that arena, and we could have notable home and family news and housing news and notable work and career news. And then the Aries Libra eclipse cycle continues. That's accentuating our 5th and 11th houses of our own creative spirit and how we contribute that to the group. If you want more dates, go to anniehelpsyou.com, put your name and email address in, click receive. Get my weekly newsletter that's full of all kinds of information to help you make the most of the month. They're content rich and focused on helping you to use the energies in the best way. When you get the welcome letter, just click on the archive link. If you don't find the welcome letter, it could be in spam or social, move it into your inbox. And then put August 2024 astrology. You'll get my very extensive write-up if you want to see the best dates, the salty dates, all of that. Now on that same page, if you scroll down, this is what you'll see. And this is where you can find that double blue moon promo. Click on up level. That will take you to my school. Then you click on the Astrology Certification Course. And there you will see how you can sign up for my Astrology Certification Course and get all the rest of the courses in my school for free by paying for just this course. And I do have monthly payment plans. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.